Okay, hello. This is the Hotline PvP. I'm gonna be starting a new series, which is gonna consist of talking about all the different things you can do in creative and how to make different types of maps. Uh, I'm not an expert by any means. I'm probably gonna be learning how to do a lot of this stuff, kind of as we go. But I think I have a pretty good understanding of the basic tools at our disposal, so I'll probably make a good little series about everything we can do and try to share that with y'all in case anyone's interested. So I'm gonna make a new world. Obviously you have to go to on the creative and then do the play option, not play but the create option, and then come on down here to your personal little, obviously the lobby will look different depending on when you're playing, but come down here to your personal little map changer, destination changer, and you'll be able to, depending on if you've made islands or not, it'll look something like this. If you have a few, deleted islands, forgot even. Okay. So I'm gonna create a new island, and I guess I'm gonna do a nice and flat grid island. Obviously you can do a whole bunch of pre-built terrains, but for now, they got the shark on here. I'm just gonna do a grid island because it's kind of easy to see everything. This will be hot, live, creative. Okay. Bam. Just let that load in, and we'll get started. Okay. So we're here in a brand. I don't know how loud this is. Okay. So we're here in a brand new world. This white dot on the grid island is the center. So I guess we can start here. Just going through all the different, kind of subcategories of what you can do. First off, when you go to your normal menu settings, you can go to My Island and pick a whole bunch of different things about your island. You can also go to your creative. And instead, you can also just go to your inventory and have access to all these different subcategories. But we'll go over the island stuff at the end of this video. We'll start with the creative because it's kind of the most intuitive and easy to understand. So the first subcategory of the creative tab is you have prefabs, which are just prefabricated structures that you can place down by throwing them. So I guess we can pick, like, get this barn real quick. Equip. Okay. So if you want to just throw down that, then if you just want to throw down some prefab, then you have to click it and then press equip down there, and or you can press like 2, 3, 4, and that'll put it into your specific hotbar. So there'll be a button that you have to press in order to get to that inventory, because right now all I have is my normal build inventory at the bottom right. So if I wanted to build, whatever, there's gonna be a button you have to press. On computer it's tilde, so I'll press tilde. Then at the bottom left you can see the different options. So right here I can, it's kind of changed since I used it last. I don't really use prefabs too often, but bam, place that down. Now that whole building has just been built. There we go. Tear everything down as long as you have edit permission. We'll talk about that in a minute. And if you want to delete things, I'll go tilde, then maybe I don't even have to press tilde. No, I do. So I'll press tilde, and then if you can hold down X, or I'm not sure what it'll be on whatever console you're on, but if you're playing on computer, mouse and keyboard, then you can hold down X, and it'll delete everything you look at. There you go. Boom. So some things might be left in the air, but it seems like they kind of fixed that most part. You can also just tap X one by one and it'll destroy things. Oh. Oh. There we go. So that's kind of how I use prefabs. You're going to have to make sure the top of my screen, right in the middle, it might be kind of hard to see, but it shows how much memory you have left on the map. So if I throw down this silo, well, that's not going to have much memory. Whew, sorry. So I can throw something down. I'll throw down the barn one more time. Nope. Make sure I don't double click. So I'll press the barn. Let's do a different one. We'll do the farmhouse. Then equip. It's number 5. There's the farmhouse. You see at the top middle of my screen, it's gotten a little more yellow, and that means I've taken up some memory. Once that is all the way full, you can't add anything else to your map. So I'm gonna delete all this again. Might be a quicker way to delete, but right now this doesn't really take too long. That'll work. Everything gone. Nice. So another thing you can do is you can double click like I did a second ago, and that'll show everything that's in that house. So this is everything that's in the farmhouse. Everything that's in the barn is right here. Not too much. Castle fort, a whole bunch of stuff. And so you can kind of pick and choose whatever you want, like that. Or you can go to galleries, which is kind of harder to look at, but you have farm building gallery. You got farm parts, so it's not each individual structure, but instead it's just kind of what you would use to build those structures in general. So this is all the building pieces for the farm. These are farm parts. So you get all the stuff on the outside, all the kind of miscellaneous things for the farm. And each one of these, you'll click it, and if you want to, you can double click one, it'll go into the slot that you haven't used yet. But eventually you're going to have all these full, and you'll have to pick a specific one. So I'll press 6, and that'll go there. And then do 6 again. You can change it to whatever hotkey you want. So if I wanted to, let's say, get a certain piece, say I wanted the pilot chair, go like that, press 1, and then boom, right there, you can put it down. There are quite a few things you can do with the objects, as long as it's not a prefab. But if I put this down, you can see at the kind of the lower left side of my screen, I can paste it, which means just put it down, just add as many as I want. I can press F, which pushes it away from me, and the whole distance thing can get kind of annoying sometimes. But yeah, so you can push it away. You can pull it closer to you using C, again, which with whatever button you have set up to it, I'll get it a little farther away. It's kind of annoying having it so close. So you can press R, which will rotate it. And if you want to change the axis it's rotated on, see, it's just kind of rotating about a, I don't fucking know, rotating about the Y-axis, I guess. You can press, you can also do E to rotate it the other way. So this is one way, this is the other way. You can press Tab, which changes what axis it's rotated about, which can get kind of confusing. I don't know why it would be rotating that direction. But yeah, then you can press it again, it'll rotate about a different direction. Not incredibly intuitive on what axis it's talking about, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of how to rotate things. You can reset, it seems like, to its original position. Gee, drops. Okay, to be honest, I don't know what that does. I don't know what drops does. Oh, okay, so drops, it'll drop down to wherever that lines at. So if I wanted to drop it over here, boom. So sure you might need that for some reason. I'm not particularly sure why, but so we'll go back. When looks like the rest of this you can, so if you don't want it to go inside of the map or kind of stick out of something, then you have to use your collisions. This is V for me. So if I hold V, then it doesn't collide with terrain. If I hold it again, then it doesn't collide with anything, so it can go underground like that. And if I can hold it again, and then it won't collide with anything, so it seems like it can still collide with that. I don't. Yeah, but you can kind of mess around with the collision settings. Grid snap shows how many different spots it can go around. So right now it's 32, 16. Now it has 16 different spots in a grid that it can snap to. Now it's 8, so it only has 8 different spots it can snap to. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 1, 2. Not too much variety in the 2. And 1, so you can only be in the middle of a grid. It's also why I kind of like this grid map, because you can kind of get a good idea of the spacing requirements for everything you're trying to build. You can also have no grid snap, so you can have as many as you want in whatever order. 32 probably provides the most. Well, I guess none probably provides the most stuff for you. So I'm going to delete all that again. So for the most part, something else you can do, you can look at it when you have your little cell phone thing out. You can copy it. You can also cut it, so you can take it away and put it somewhere else. And obviously the last thing we have is, what is options? Yeah, you can go around and look at this. This seems like pretty advanced stuff. Might make a video on it some other time. I've never opened up this quick menu before. I've never really needed to. So, there is one more thing you can do. You can also resize. So I'll hold down my right key, and then using the 2 rotate buttons, I can grow it, make it big as hell, or I can shrink it, make it wee tiny. There we go. Look at that. I'm the captain now. Okay. So yeah, that's how you move things around for the most part. And if you're doing something like, let's see, we can try to get some walls. Let's get this wall, and let's get a floor. Okay. So just like in Fortnite, you have your grids that you can build in. You can't just build freely wherever you want. Everything kind of snaps to a specific grid. So here we can do that. We can't just levitate things. Gravity's in place, so you have to have it standing with something. So I'll put this barn door down. And you need to remember that things can look different on each side. So you kind of want to make sure you have the outside where it needs to be. Just keep it consistent. If I wanted to, I can, put some crap on top. Boom, boom, boom. Could add some doors if I wanted to, and make yourself a little house. So that's nice. So that's the gist of how to build and edit. For the most part, just making a cool little terrain. Not terrain, but making buildings and making the interior, all that. So with the gallery, you also have, you can search things. Looks like you can search by locations too, from the old map and the new map. Wild West. So a whole bunch of really customizable. You can pretty much find whatever you want in the game, other than certain weapons, right, when they come out. Devices, this is probably the most technical of any of these subcategories. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but you do find some of your basic traps, poison stuff, your rift if you want to teleport, launch pads. So some of the things you might want in game are found here, not in weapons or consumables or anything like that. Probably the most important of these would be the player spawn, and I'd probably say team settings as well. Those are pretty important. for just making basic maps, and we'll go over that later. And you also find your vehicles and your other weird stuff. So that is a devices category. I'll probably make individual videos on how to use player spawns and player checkpoints and team settings and all that. Although I've never actually used a player checkpoint, but we'll figure it out. Weapons, it's exactly what you would think. Most of the newer weapons are not in this, so right now I'm making this video in Chapter 2, Season 3, and none of the mythic weapons other than the Infinity Blade are in here, so you won't find the new grappler or even the charged shotgun. Not just the mythic variety, but none of the charged shotguns are in this whatsoever. Consumables, I also don't think crash pads are in here. Yeah, crash pads are also not in here, which is unfortunate. You know, you would like to be able to train with certain things that are in the game, but yeah, they seem to kind of take a little while adding things in the creative sometimes. So you can find your builds, your meds, and consumables. I think we're kind of done with the weapons. Yeah, we're good. So all the different weapons, all the different colors. Consumables, anything you would quote unquote consume, anything that you could run out of is in here. So ammo, builds, meds, throwables that you throw away. Don't know why the jewels in here. I guess it's just they kind of needed to put it somewhere. But yeah, these are consumables. They do have the old grappler, but just not the mythic grappler. In chests, you can add items to chests, and you'll kind of have them set up here. I haven't messed with that too much. You don't really need to have chests, unless you want like to make a battle royale map where you come down, you have to loot chests, and we'll talk about how to make chests. But that seems like just about it for the most part. Just kind of the basics of what you need to get going in creative and mess around with some settings. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. We'll also go to go back. So you have your play options. So if I wanted to drop something that's in my inventory, I go to my play options and I can drop that, drop these, whatever I want. And something that's also very important is the My Island settings. So very important permissions. This will let uh, people edit and copy in your island. So whenever somebody joins your island, you can choose to give them permission. If you want anybody to be able to edit, you can change it to everyone can edit whatever they want to do. I would probably recommend you leave it on private. Make sure nobody just joins your game and destroys everything you've been making. But to keep that from happening as well, you can go to tools and create a backup. So you can back it up, and then once you've backed it up, you can restore to your backup. So even if you mess up, if you just delete a huge structure you've been working on, as long as you had it backed up, as long as you saved it, you can restore it from the last save. You can also restore reset the island to its original state before you did anything. Um, uh, yeah, the game settings, your island, if you have like a specific game mode, um, this is where you'll be able to, for the most part, manipulate the settings. There's also things you can use in the devices category that can do this for you and kind of change it depending on what round you're at, or um, that's kind of more advanced. But as of right now, this is where you can pretty much set up whatever you would want. So you can make, a game mode where you get a certain amount of coins and then you win. You can do that. Uh, this is where you can change the number of rounds you have. Very important. Um, Team rotations, how many times you can spawn. Voice chat, I definitely would kind of put that so everybody can voice chat with each other. Change different kind of teams, so cooperative, number of different teams. Free for all is probably the easiest to work with there. Um, Changing where you spawn at on spawn pads, friendly fire. So a lot of the setting, if you're trying to make a game, this is where most of the settings are. The UI you can also get in trouble trying to find something in the game settings when, if you win a round, you want it to say that you've won that round, and it can be kind of difficult to get it to actually state that you've won the round, even though you know you won the round. You have to come to the UI settings and go to what is it? Uh, HUD info type, is that it? It's one of these. We'll get to it, but uh, this is where it'd be scoreboard win condition. So for the scoreboard to tell you how many points you have, you can do how many eliminations you got in that round, how many assists you got. I'd probably, if you're doing like a free-for-all type map, maybe a Zone Wars or a box fighting match, then you can go to not eliminated. That's how many times you got eliminated, but eliminations. There's a lot of different. Okay, it's way more than I thought there was. Eliminations, and then a score tiebreaker. You can make it, uh, how much health you had left at the end of the match. And you can add all these different tiebreakers. Yeah, so the UI is kind of, you can change sounds, change layout for different HUDs, for different heads-up display settings. This is kind of your map settings, so you can change, I don't know why shields and health, starting health is in settings. I think it would be in game, but I guess not. So that's just a little thing to, kind of heads up for you. So if you want to change the max health, the starting health, this would apply over the majority of the people that are playing in your game, unless you go again to devices and you change that for particular teams. You can change how much health a particular team has and all that fun stuff. But yeah, definitely check out each of these settings in game settings and UI. They're very useful. It might take a little while to familiarize yourself with everything, figure out what all you can do. I mean, I haven't at all figured out everything I can do in Fortnite Creative. There's a lot to do. So we've talked about UI, settings, games, tools. We've also talked about that. Description, you can change, your descriptions when you walk up to uh, your little thing in the lobby. You can walk up to your lobby little portal thing, and it'll give you a description. Uh, and then the permissions, yeah. So that is just about everything. Not at all everything, but all the beginner settings that you kind of need to know to get everything started. I think the next video I'll make on spawn pads and maybe team and inventory settings, because that's kind of the easiest to use for the most part. I'll also probably talk about chests as well. So yeah, I hope you found this informative. Um, Obviously there's also your flying settings, so you can change the speed that you fly and all that. Um, yeah, I think that's just about it for the first video. We'll see you next time. Yeah, thanks.